All right, good morning, and welcome to a review of how to factor quadratics and how to solve in factored form. So first we're going to work on factoring our quadratics. We want to find the factors of two, factors of our last number, that add or subtract to the middle number. And then we're going to have two sets of parentheses for our final answer. So let's look for our factors of 2. Well, our factors of 2 are going to be 1 and 2. And if I want them to add to a -3, well, the only way to get -3 would be to have -1 and -2. So I'll just plug in a -1 and a -2 in my parentheses, and that's my final answer. And for number 2, let's try another one here. I want factors of 30 that add or subtract to a positive 11. I got 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6, and that's it. So I need the ones that add or subtract to positive 11. And the only ones that add or subtract to positive 11 would be 5 and 6. So positive 11, I would need a positive 5 and a positive 6. So I'll plug in a positive 6 and a positive 5, doesn't matter which order, in my parentheses, and I'm done. And let's try number 4. I'm going to skip 3 for now. So factors of -20, so 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5, and I want them to add or subtract to a -1. Well, 1 and 20 wouldn't work. I could either get 19 if I subtract them, or 21 if I add. So these don't work. 2 and 10, I could either get 12 if I add them, or 8 if I subtract. So that won't work. And 4 and 5, well, I could get 9 if I add them, or 1 if I subtract. So if I want a -1, the only way to get -1 would be to have 5 minus 4 would be positive 1, and 4 minus 5 would be -1. So if I have 4 positives and 5 negatives, then I would have -1. So positive 4 minus 5 is -1. So I'd plug in a -5 and a positive 4 to my parentheses, and that would be my final answer. Now, once we've got these in factored form, let's see how we can solve them. Well, we've got 2 different ways. I'll show you the long way and the shortcut. The long way is, I want to find out where this expression is equal to 0, and we'll talk about why later on in the year. But the only way to find where this is 0 is to have 0 in one of these pieces. So if I have 0 times anything, I'll get 0. So I want either the left side to be 0 or the right side to be 0. And then I can solve from there. So my final answers would be x is -3 and x is +2. So that's the long way. You can set up each part equal to 0. Or the shortcut is, look at what sign you've got with your number. So here I have a -9 and a -5. Well, I'm just going to take the opposite sign. So if you look back at number 5, I had x plus 3, and my final answer was x is -3. Or here I had x minus 2, and my answer was x is +2. So in number 6, if I have x minus 9, well, my final answer will be x is +9. And if I have x minus 5, then my final answer will be x equals +5. So let's try 7 and 8. Give 7 and 8 a try. All right, and I would pause the video now if you're going to give those a try, and then unpause when you're done. So I'm going to just change the signs if I see them. So 0 and negative 14. So x is 0 and x is positive 14. Or if you wanted to, you could say x plus 0 equals 0. Well, if I subtract 0 from both sides, 0 minus 0 is 0. And x plus 8 squared, which is just x plus 8, my answer would be, instead of positive 8, negative 8. And you could set this up as x plus 8 equals 0. And then, subtract 8 from both sides. And 0 minus 8 is negative 8. So let's try 2 more. Let's try 10 and 12. And if you don't see a number, there's really a 0 hiding out. So this could be thought of as x plus 0 times x plus 13. So my final answers would be x is negative 13, x is 0, and x is negative 8, and x is 2.